This is Brian Fisher. I'm just wanted to show you this platform. So this was actually done by a colleague of yours, Manu. And so I'm going to log in here quickly because this none of this CMS stuff really means anything. It's the functionality of this. This was done in I think it was Laravel framework. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and log in here, which I've already provided the credentials, and I'll share that link with you. So I'll log in here. So just real quickly, um, what this is a system for creating and managing um, uh, a way to boy, it's hard to explain. A way for a labor union here in the States to um, get enough supporters in a given workplace to unionize. So, what this platform does is it allows us to give a tool to anyone who would like to start sharing a survey of employees of a given employer and then take those survey results and message the employees, whoever responded to the survey, so that they can start coordinating unionizing activities in the workplace. And the way it works is so right now I'm signed in as the super admin, and the super admin has a dashboard that's like looks like this. It just says manage organizations and companies. And here's a little add button. And what these different organizations are, these would be considered different target. They would be unions. So a particular union would have several different workplaces under them, meaning a union, and usually they have numbers. So let's say this one is Teamsters Local 665. So this union, when I click on this and I drill down, so I'm going to show you what this is. This is the total number of users, and a lot of this won't make any sense for now. How many department projects, how many surveys have been sent, and how many total potential employees they're trying to organize within this particular organization, or this one, or this one, or this one. So if I drill down and say into this Teamsters would be considered a particular local union. So they would have their own address, they would have their own physical space, and within that space would be a group of staff that would manage a bunch of different workplaces, a bunch of different companies. They wouldn't be Teamster companies, they would be other companies that have unionized underneath the Teamster name, this name here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and let's say, so let's say if I wanted to, within Teamsters 665, so it says here, hello, Teamsters Local 665 admin. If I wanted to add a particular person on my staff who is going to be organizing a group, we would do that. We would say add team member, and they would be, we'd put in their first and last name and their email, their phone, a password that we would provide them. And then what they would end up being is a team member within this local union, this local 665 or whatever we wanted to create. And so if you back out, you can also create different local unions or different organizations. So, but I'm going to drill back down into here. And so as an example, this person, Florencio Sonogi, he currently has, and all of this is test work. None of these are active. because we're reviving this project. It was a project that was completed a couple of years ago, and we're just getting some traction on it now. So he currently, if you look at this, has 7 group projects. And if you drill down into what he's doing, we're going to see those 7 groups. And that 7 groups represents a total of 12,065 total potential employees. So I'm going to drill down here into him. And then here you go. These are the different places that he's organizing. There's Los Angeles 2, there's Mission Street, DC, 1960 Folsom. So these would all be considered employees, or excuse me, in a business. And you can add these different employers, these different businesses. So say, for example, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to say, let's say if I was Florencio Sonogi, I wanted to, I had a group of people contact me in a particular company, and they said, we want to organize a union. So what I would do is I'd say, okay, well, we're going to add you to the system. So we'll add, and then we'd say, okay, what's your employer name? So let's say it's, Classic Informatics. Class Informatics. I'm going to say, 123 Main Street, Suite 223, City, San Francisco, 94002 is the zip. The state is California. No, and the rest of this stuff is just optional, which we don't need. So I'm going to add that employer. So now if we look, here we are, Classic Informatics. So now let's say I'm going to drill down here into, just to make sure, because I haven't taken a look at this in a while. Okay, so within Classic Informatics, now I need to add a group. So let's say there are software developers, and there are janitorial service, and there is staff for the kitchen or food or whatever it might be. So oftentimes in these different companies, they have to organize for labor unions within a specific department. So we call departments groups. So I'm going to add a group, and I'm just going to say the group name is software developers, and there is 25 people who work there. And the reason why we want to organize is because there's unfair labor practices and wages are too low, and we would like some additional benefits at the workplace. Okay, so now there's a group of software developers there, and there's 25 of them, and this is the reason why they want to organize as a union. So I'm going to say add to these guys. So now what you see is this is the group, your software developers. And now what this does is it automatically generates a survey. And what that survey is intended to do is to virally go through between all of the employees so we can collect all their information and help guide this group of 25 employees through unionizing. So if you take a look and drill down, so there's different statuses here. So there's active, on hold, inactive, and complete. And these are the project stages. So there's a survey stage, which is what we're currently in. Then there's these different other actions that happen later on. They're called card collection, vote filing, vote pending, and whether or not the vote was ratified, yes or no. Here's a little button that turns the survey on and off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the survey. So I'm going to drill down again into software developers. And here is the survey. It says here, right here. Here's your survey. So I'm going to copy this link, And let's say I'm one of the software developers and I got this survey and I'm going to fill it out and then I'm going to send it to my friend. Or let's say I already filled it out. Now I'm going to send it to my friend. So here's the survey link. I'll paste it in here. And then here it is. So this says, your coworkers are securing for a better future. It says here, it's automatically placed based on the information we already put in. Confidential worker survey for classic informatics software developers. Take this short worker satisfaction survey for classic informatics software developers. See how many of your coworkers would consider unionizing. Take your first steps towards better wages, benefits, and job protection. So let's go ahead and take the survey. And this is a little confidentiality statement. This is a legal issue in the United States, so they just have to check that they're not part of the management. So they say yes, and so we get this little simple survey. So yes, I'm happy with my pay rate. No, I'm not happy with my health care. Not sure about my pension. No, I don't feel protected at my job. Yes, I would consider unionizing. And if we unionize, would I want to be active or not in the process? So let's say yes, I would definitely be interested. And then I'm gonna pick my three big issues. So I think my pay rate's too low. We don't get any retirement, and we're always getting laid off because of seasonal work. So those are the three biggies. So then I say, okay, my name is Brian. I'm going to go test at citest.com. Put my phone number in here, 415-515-6058. CAPTCHA. Okay, so here's the first problem we run into. When we hit done here, we end up with this error right here. So that's the first issue. However, what just happened here is the survey, at this point, there's usually a thank you note along with a share link that says send it to another coworker. But at this point, we get stuck right here. So something's going on, and I have to get you the same credentials of Mailgun that we were previously thinking about using for the community and neighbors project. So, and also coincidentally, our Twilio account's the same. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. And now that one person has taken the survey, let me refresh this. And what you're going to see is the data. So now, since I was the one who said that pay rate, retirement, and layoffs were my three big issues, what this does is this aggregates the averages of all the surveys into a top 5 workplace issues, and then the number of people who would be willing to unionize. So currently there's only one respondent, and that's at 100% because that's me. And I said, yes, I'd like to unionize. So here we have a dashboard, and now what this does here, these group updates, is this is a SMS to anyone who gave a phone number. So this would, if you wanted to send a message to anybody in the whole group, this just posts as an update. And but here you'll see that here is the group development, the group page. So if you recall, we put software developers in, we put the name of the company. Here's the name of the organizer, Florencio Sinogi, and his organization, Teamsters Local 665. This is all automatic because of what we had previously input into the system. Also, here's the share link. And so if we want to email or SMS the group, or just look at who has signed up, we can do that in these different areas. So we click on email here. This is, and we can select anyone based on these different criteria. So now this gets a little complicated, but depending on how they answered the survey, they get labeled as a 1, 2, or 3-star based on a certain criteria. And then we can also select them as a committee member. They would be in the respondents here. So if you wanted to see their 3-star rating, because the way I answered the questions, it gave me a 3-star rating, which is the most valuable. And if I want them to be on the committee and just want to email committee members, I can select them as a committee member. It says, are you sure you want to have these guys in as a committee member? So I can say yes. So I'll go back to the email here, email the group. And then what I can do is I can select and I can filter. I can select the 1, 2, 3. I can select all of these different items. Now you see we're having problems with these filters. Again, this is getting kind of old. And so, if they're on the committee, or email them manually. And then I can send them a dummy email. And we have a few templates here for emails that will be sent out. So you just select, if I had selected just 3 stars, then when I drop down the selected, I could click on, it would only filter all 3 stars, and then I could select all of the 3 stars, or just 2 stars, or everybody, or however we want to filter that. And so then this will send an email out to that entire group that we've selected. Same thing goes for SMS. So same thing, 1, 2, 3 stars committee members, and email manually. And this just sends, and this uses our Twilio credentials. So I'm going to back up here. I'm going to back out. So if you recall, here's the group page, and this has got all the product details. So this has got, the company and the group, the company, who is organizing the group from the Teamsters here, Florencio, and then of course a link to be able to share with anybody in the workplace who wants to take the survey. So I'm going to back out of this, and again, this is the group details. This is how to email anyone within the filters of the group. This is SMS them, and this is the general respondents, everybody who's in that group and how they responded. So I'm going to back up here. Now I'm back to the software developers, and the software developers is within the classic informatics. So let's see here. I'm going to back out again. And now we're back to the guy who is in that particular union. And these are all the different businesses he is trying to create surveys for, and then message all of these people to get them on board to unionize. So, and remember, these guys are from, this is Florencio Sonogi, and he's from a labor union called Teamsters 665. So if I back out of that, you'll see Teamsters 665, and then these are the 2 people. Right now I was just doing some testing with it, but you can add any number of people, add team members, and then we'll go back to the super admin, and the super admin is the one that can actually add organizations. So that's a brief look at this, and we want to start off by getting those few errors cleaned up. We want to make sure that Mailgun is working properly and that Twilio is working properly, so we can start SMSing and also emailing these respondents, because we do have a client that is very interested in using this platform, but it's been sitting on the shelf for probably a year and a half now, or maybe just a year, since the pandemic, basically. So anyway, I'm going to stop this video, and I hope that's very helpful for you. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions. Okay, I'll get on Basecamp and get you over those credentials and share with you more stuff. Thanks. Bye-bye.